Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 days straight. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel, it's time to dance.
21 plus in present and select states. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
High five!
Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Heck yeah!
That's gig speed internet at a great rate for 5 years.
Yes!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business and lock in a great rate for 5 years on a qualifying internet bundle. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card. For a limited time only, call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt, a podcast about electric vehicles, renewable energy, autonomous driving, and much, much more. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. And the ending of the intro music caught me off guard a little bit. I wasn't quite ready. I started it later in the intro. Anyway, doesn't really matter. I'm Bodie. I'm your host, and I am discombobulated. Let's move on to our show. A little less of me being weird. Here we go. Okay, we're leaving all this in. We're going to jump right into our EV news today, aside from my tomfoolery. And today's going to be a shorter show. I've been doing some longer shows as of late, and it's harder to get longer shows out, if I'm being honest. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter, not too short. It'll be, close to 20 minutes, maybe a little less. But still. All right. Jumping into our EV news. Volkswagen is recalling close to 100,000 EVs. It's right around 94,000. The issue is due to faulty battery modules. And some of the issues that can kind of come up from these battery modules that might be faulty is limited range, which is an inconvenience or potential fire risk. VW produced these vehicles between June of 2023 and August of 2024. And if you own one of these vehicles produced in that time frame, which are the ID3, ID4, ID5, the ID Buzz, both the passenger Buzz and the cargo, you might be affected. So I would imagine that Volkswagen will be reaching out to you if you're one of those folks. Cadillac is testing eyes-off driving for the Escalade, just so everybody's on the same page. That eyes-off driving, that would be level 3. They're testing this in California and Michigan. GM expects that they will have, Cadillac expects that they'll have 200 test vehicles on the road soon. Some of those vehicles, people will be driving around manually, which, gross. And the others will be running some sort of driver assist technology, and then it'll be supervised, which is kind of still gross, but not as gross as having to drive your own car and, operate the pedals and the steering wheel and stuff like that. Anyway, no judgment zone here. GM is planning on launching level 3 eyes-off driving on their new Cadillac Escalade IQ in 2028. And one of the things that I found interesting about this particular Escalade, or this particular vehicle, is it's going to be the first vehicle that GM has that is equipped with LiDAR. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of gross and disgusting, I've made it very clear that I have a disdain for Toyota. But I have to admit, they are taking steps that might actually make them a leader in the EV world, at least here in the U.S. Toyota is investing $1 billion to increase manufacturing here in the U.S. $200 million of that is going to go to expanding production for the Grand Highlander at its Indiana plant. Now, that's great, but the Grand Highlander is a hybrid and a gas-powered vehicle. My neighbor has a red Grand Highlander, and goodness gracious, does it look good. And my other neighbor across the street from him, they try to outdo each other, apparently, just has a regular Highlander, which is also red. Same color red, just a gorgeous vehicle, though. But back to the world of EVs, Toyota is going to invest $800 million into their Kentucky plant, which is where they're building their Highlander EV, which is great. That's super exciting. But they're also going to manufacture a second EV at that plant. While we don't know what that EV will be, I think Toyota's positioning itself to kind of do an Apple. You know how other companies will come out with a product, it'll maybe have lackluster sales, but it's something that people want. We'll just use the smartphone, for instance. And these other companies try a bunch of things and they kind of work, but don't really work. And then Apple comes out and, slays it with the iPhone, for instance. I do think there's a little bit of myth making in that because Apple has certainly come out and failed a bunch as well. But we tend to remember their successes more than remember their failures. But anyway, my point is Toyota has been a company that's toyed with EVs for quite some time. They were I think the first to come out with a hybrid, which was the Prius. But they really haven't been. They've made promises in the past, but they haven't been like overly boisterous about it. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is now that other auto manufacturers are pulling back from EVs a little bit, and Toyota is in a measured way moving forward a little bit, Toyota might actually produce something that people actually like the iPhone, and be successful at it. Now, we'll see. The Highlander is not a cheap vehicle, and I would imagine the Highlander EV won't be a cheap vehicle. But that second EV, I would not be surprised if it was something close to the size of a RAV4. And that's one of the rumors. I'm not I'm not a genius for saying that. There's plenty of rumors out there of what this second EV will be, and one of those rumors happens to be the RAV4. But yeah, we'll kind of see. I am not changing my opinion on Toyota as a company because I just have too many people in my life that drive Toyotas that are insufferable about the cars that they drive. So I won't be changing my opinion. But Toyota might be the sneaky car company that jumps into the EV market and wins, at least for a time period. All right. Yesterday was Monday, and Donut released its 5th independent test from VTT Labs. Oh, buddy. I know that there are folks from Verge who follow me who are also involved with Donut. I know that you all have a chip on your shoulder because you have so many doubters, but the way that you're doling out this information, which is so slow and painful, it's causing more frustration in the community than goodwill. I get that you're trying to stay inside I get that you're trying to stay in the news cycle, but if I'm being honest, the first time Donut released their testing, which was week 1, right? That week, I probably had 6 articles that I could draw from. And then from there, it slowly started dwindling on. This week, there was only 1 article that I could find by a place that I consider to be trusted, because right now everybody's a battery expert, including me, which I'm not a battery expert, but there was one story from Electric, and that was it. I didn't see any story from any other news outlet that I look at on a regular basis for Donut Labs. This drip style of releases is just awful. It is painful. It is almost torture. Like, if and I don't know if this is an actual torture thing. I'm sure I just saw this on TV, but it's like you have somebody tied down on a bench, and then there's just like a drip of water that drips on their head every 3 seconds. And while that in itself is not a big deal, when that happens for hours, it becomes maddening. So this is kind of what that is. Like, they're doling out this information so slowly and not answering the critical questions of, hey, we had this independent agency verify that this is a solid state battery. We haven't heard that yet. We haven't heard what the battery chemistry is yet. We don't know if, some of their claims, like their energy density, we don't know if that's true. We don't know if it can actually go for 100,000 charge cycles. We don't know any of this stuff. And that's kind of the stuff people care about. It's not to say what they're testing today or yesterday isn't important. I'm just saying, like, you're burning any goodwill that you've had by releasing the information in the way that it's being released. So with that, let's take a look at Donut's fifth independent test from Finland's VTT Technical Research Center. So this time, VTT looked at Donut's solid-state cell, and I'm using air quotes with solid-state cell, and how it performed under repeated high-power cycling. So the cell was cycled 50 times at a high charge and discharge rate. It started close to the expected capacity, which was somewhere around 90% of the capacity, but then dropped to 55% of the capacity by the end of the test, or right around there. So the efficiency, it also declined, and the cell expanded in size a little bit. But there's a little bit more to this story that I haven't told you that's actually interesting, is the cell that they used in this test was damaged in a prior high temperature test that they did. That was during week 1. If you remember, they had one cell that lost its internal vacuum and under the 100 degree Celsius test. And the reason why is, I guess, the adhesive on the pouch cell had failed, and that caused it caused it to lose its vacuum and basically expose the battery to air. So we don't know how long the cell sat around. It could have been hours, it could have been days. But the cell sat around, exposed to air, and then they ran these tests. And again, there's more information. If you want more information, go to I Do Not Believe if you want the full test. But because the battery was exposed to air, it still performed remarkably well. Batteries don't like air. Like, if you go to and I have never been to a battery plant, but I used to work in a chip plant in Idaho, in Micron. And, going into a clean room, there's all sorts of stuff that you have to do, and you have to get dressed up and all that other stuff. And I didn't work in those rooms. I did tour them, but I did RAM chips and inspected motherboards. I was pretty low on the totem pole as far as that kind of stuff goes. But anyway, the point is, for this long diatribe, is that batteries don't like to be exposed to air. And even though this battery was exposed to air, it was able to charge and discharge. It did not catch on fire. It did lose its capacity, right? It dropped by about 55% by the end of the test. But this is a battery that was, for all intents and purposes, damaged. So again, Donut, while this is a good thing that you're doing here, impressive, is it everything you said it was? We don't know. But it's impressive, but because of the way that this is coming out, it is torturous. When someone comes up to you and is trying to tell you something without trying to tell you something, they want you to ask them something, and it's really annoying because they're just not getting to the point and they just need to be more direct. That's kind of what this says. Be more direct. We need to know what the weight of the cells are so we can know if your most significant claims of the energy density, which is 400 watt hours per kilogram, if that's true. So we can't know that unless we know the weight of the cell. And then the lifespan of 1,000 charge cycles, or 100,000 charge cycles, excuse me. Yeah. And then also we should probably know if it's actually a solid state battery and then what the battery chemistry is. Donut has stated that it plans to deliver production batteries and Verge motorcycles by the end of the first quarter in 2026. Well, as I record this is March 24th, 2026. I don't know that anybody's received a Verge motorcycle yet with a Donut battery. So we are very close to that timeline. And, I'm sure the first few people that receive a Donut motorcycle outside of employees of the company or investors or friends will get a nice check from some company who wants to independently verify this, or just tear it apart in a clean room so that they can do their own thing. Chinese companies, for instance, might be interested in this kind of thing. Anyway, all right. So that is it for our EV news.
O'Reilly! Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 days straight. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel, it's time to dance.
21 plus in President Select States. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Modern enterprise. That's a lot of moving parts. Comcast Business helps you orchestrate it all. With SD-WAN working at scale to keep 150 hospital locations connected and working as one. Plus SASE and Zero Trust security, protecting financial data across a bank's 2,000 branches. And AI-powered networking that optimizes traffic across 5 continents. No one does business like Comcast Business.
When you run a business, there are a lot of boxes to check.
Let's see. Payroll? Check. Inventory? Check. Insurance?
Well, Good Thing Simply Business makes getting small business insurance fast and easy. Just answer a few questions, review your quotes, and get covered in under 10 minutes, all online. It's that simple. Check insurance off your list at simplybusiness.com.
Hopefully I'm not sounding too negative. I want Virgin Donut to succeed. It's tedious the way that they're drip this information out. If you want to drip money into my bank account, you can by going to supportkilowatt.com. All the money that is donated by patrons and Supercast patrons, all that money goes back into the show. None of that money goes into my own pocket. There's a special account that is labeled Patreon. I know we have a Patreon and a Supercast, but it was set up a long time ago. But it's labeled Patreon, and that's where I'm able to pay for Riverside and Google Docs and all the stuff that I have to pay for to keep this show going. That money comes out of those accounts, and so I'm eternally grateful for the folks who support the show on Patreon. So thank you very much. And if you think that's saving me money so that I can pocket all of the advertising money that goes into the show, that is not the case. It is very hard to make any real money on advertising programmatic ads. So not to say it's impossible, and I'm not getting nothing, but this show, for tax purposes, does make a little bit of money, but in reality, it doesn't make any money. Like, I can't show a loss forever on the show for tax purposes, So I don't report everything to the IRS that I'm paying for, but yeah, The fact is the show costs me money to do. All right. I don't know if I am now going to get audited or not. So let's move on to our Tesla news. But if I do get audited, go to supportkilowatt.com, because all of the money that I'm going to pay lawyers and accountants to protect me in the audit will come from that account. I'm just kidding. All right. I feel wordy today. Let's move on to our Tesla news. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, which is an independent nonprofit organization dedicated to reducing deaths and injuries for automobile accidents. They recently gave the Cybertruck its top Safety Pick Plus award, which is great. The Cybertruck is the only pickup truck in the U.S. to win this award. And just kind of as a side note, the Cybertruck also won the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration 5-star rating as well. And the Cybertruck is the only pickup to be recognized by both of those agencies, or organizations. So good job, Tesla, and good job to the Cybertruck team. All right, that leads us to our final Tesla story, which I think is kind of cool. Tesla has filed paperwork for a major expansion at Giga Texas. Tesla has submitted these new plans to Travis County, and they're outlining like this. It's a significant expansion in Texas there. So right now, the Giga Texas is already about 2,500 acres, which I'm shocked at. That's huge. The new plans include two major pieces. One is a large public green eco space, like a park that people can go to, which is right alongside the Colorado River. And the other is, you might have heard, Tesla is going to be building a semiconductor plant. They're calling it a terafab, and they're going to be building that in Texas and Travis County as well. So let's start with the terafab, because I'm less impressed with this, but this will build semiconductors for Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI. The manufacturing facility is going to be more than 5.2 million square feet of new buildings, not just under one roof. There's going to be several buildings. The initial phase will include a 2 million square foot R&D facility. 2 million for R&D. Can you imagine? That's huge. The facility is expected to build 2 nanometer chips, and that they're expected to start in 2027, which seems very soon. Initially, they think they can get 100,000 wafers started per month, and then they can scale beyond that. And then construction has already begun at Giga Texas, which is mostly moving dirt and site preparation. So that's one part. The second, I'm sure we're going to hear more about that in Tesla's next earnings call. The next thing is this eco park project that they're building. It's going to have 25 miles of walking trails, 18 miles of biking paths, and nearly 4 miles just alongside the river. Can you imagine how pretty this is going to be? 290 acres of preserved waterfront, wetlands, wildlife corridors, and flood mitigation features, which is important these days. It's going to have sports fields and a boardwalk. I would imagine that they might, have maybe some kiosks where you can get an ice cream or something. They also plan to plant thousands of trees and could serve around 20,000 households, just that one little park. When I say little, I'm being sarcastic. If you were listening to me back in 2020, we actually listened to Tesla pitch the Travis County planning board, I guess it is. And we went through that. So this whole project with the park has been planned since then. And, I'm not going to say that Tesla made promises and then didn't fulfill them until they needed the next thing to be approved, because that could definitely be a way to looking at this. However, I do think you got to give them a little bit of a break in that 6 years. They were building the factory, working on some other things. So if for some reason the terafab is able to be built and the eco park takes forever or never materializes, then maybe we can lob some justified criticism on Tesla for that. But in this case, I think that 6 years after pitching it, and then, a few years after finishing Giga Texas, like the actual manufacturing part of Giga Texas, I think we're okay. Timeline wise, just knowing how slow these kind of things typically go. So yeah. And that's all of our show for today. Keeping it short, I've got lots of interviews that we've done lately. I have one interview still in the can. We talked to Carrie Murphy of Final Lap Weekly, which is that NASCAR podcast that I was telling you about. And Carrie also does the Whooshin' YouTube channel. Seemed like a lot of folks liked hearing Brian Max on the show. So yeah, I've still got to share some of the feedback that I've gotten for Brian, but yeah, that's awesome. Trying to line up some more interviews for you, people who actually know about cars and are actual car journalists. And then what else? What's the other thing? Oh yeah, I've got quite a few interviews that are currently just kind of in the hopper. So we'll kind of see. It sounds like at least 2 are going to be confirmed. We'll see where everything else goes from there. After this, though, I might take a little break on the interviews because, oh man, do they take a lot of work? Because I'm basically recording a podcast in the middle of the week when I'm recording all the other podcasts, and then I've got to edit the interview and then get it out. It's just a little bit more of a headache. I still love doing them, but I might have to take a little break because it's a lot easier to either A, do interviews, or B, do news. Mixing those two in is takes a lot of time. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you on Friday. And hey, if this show doesn't go out on Tuesday, it was recorded on Tuesday. It is currently 9 o'clock at night, and I still need to take a shower. So we'll see when the show gets actually released, today or tomorrow, but it's actually being recorded. So we're making positive steps is what I'm saying. All right, folks, thank you so much for listening and sticking with me, even though I'm all over the place today. Appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 days straight. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel, it's time to dance.
21 plus in present and select states. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Modern enterprise. That's a lot of moving parts. Comcast Business helps you orchestrate it all. With SD-WAN working at scale to keep 150 hospital locations connected and working as one. Plus SASE and Zero Trust security, protecting financial data across a bank's 2,000 branches. And AI-powered networking that optimizes traffic across 5 continents. No one does business like Comcast Business.
You compare prices when shopping for flights, hotels, cars, so why not small business insurance? At Simply Business, we'll show you policies that fit your business and a range of prices to help you save. Who knew buying insurance could be so simple? Visit simplybusiness.com for your free quote today.
RingCentral's AI receptionist uses voice AI to answer on the first ring, so you'll never miss a call again. In just a few minutes, you can personalize your own AI receptionist to answer questions, route calls, schedule appointments, and even send texts in multiple languages. Plus, it's easy to scale. Create unlimited AI receptionists across any phone system. It's all powered by one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.